I am Dungeon Master, your guide in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
Thunderian. Thunderian. What? You okay? My head hurts. How long have I been in here? 4 months. Why? It's the only way to get you off the blood wine. We had to isolate you so you could get all the filth out of your system. I'm hungry. Good. That means you're returning to normal. Where's Zelda? I have memories of her visiting me. We can talk about that later, friend. For now, we're gonna see if we can get you out of here. Thunderian's having this moment where he's coming back to consciousness. The last several months have just been like a dream or a blur in his mind. He has flashes of Zelda visiting him and her holding her belly, but that seems long ago. He starts to look around his cell at all the scratches in the walls and glances down at his nails where he has this moment of realization that he was the one doing the scratches. He feels like he has to learn how to relive life, how to do the simplest things like moving and thinking at the same time. And he starts to realize that maybe drinking has destroyed his life. He starts to think back at the woman who was feeding him this poison, and he wants to blame her, but he also knows he was in a pretty bad place before she even came along. Within the hour, Simon returns with a few guards, and they let Thunderian out for the first time in 4 months. They keep their guard up, wondering if he's going to attack or how he's going to act, but he keeps his composure, looks Simon right in the eyes, and gives him a head nod. Sort of a thank you in the only way that he knows how. He says to Simon, "I'm starving. Let's eat." Telegrad is one of several outlying towns, not too far in distance from Hellegrad. And this particular town is known for its tobacco and hemp. Most of the places here, people are smoking pipes of either the tobacco or the hemp, or using the hemp to make ropes or different products that can be sold, sent up the Washing River to Badgeport, the capital city. Today we find ourselves at the Wilds, which is an eatery here in town. It always stays full, and they always have some amazing breakfast. It's currently Rain Chariot 20, Mish Day. In our world, that would be April 20th on a Monday, about 8 a.m. People are just starting to get up and around. And these two are here, and Thunderian is just wolfing down endless amounts of bacon and eggs. He's not having any ale, he's drinking just quarts and quarts of water. The reason that they call the establishment the Wilds is because of its nature motif. Inside, you can see right over here, there's a big vat that contains fish swimming around. And the rafters up in the ceiling are wrapped in all different sorts of vines and stems. Back here, you have a brown bear in a cage that is leashed to a chain. And on the weekends, they actually clear this place out and people wrestle the bear in here. Right by the entryway is this cage, and inside there are a mated pair of Sturge or stingbats. There's also a smaller one in there. It looks like they had a baby, and those are just sort of roosted up on branches that they have built within the cage. Simon says to Thunderian, You look like you haven't eaten. You made it seem like we haven't fed you. I'm starving. Good. We need you back at full strength so we can take revenge on your enemies. Thunderian just like stops mid-chew. Yeah. So tell me, where's Zelda? You know what happened at the warehouse. It came to be that she was carrying. And Thunderian looks confused. A bull? A minotaur? Yes. It took her life in the childbirthing process. When it came out, it had hooves, horns. I personally cut its throat. We buried Zelda in the old cemetery. I can show you where she's at. Thunderian is kind of shocked. This adds to the list of everyone who is around him that seems to die. He says to Simon, "Are you sure you want to be around me? Everybody else ends up dead." As the conversation continues, the entire building starts to shake and jostle about. Panic ensues in here. The women begin screaming. Some of the men begin falling as they try to make their way over to the door, over to the window, and find out what's going on. Many tables are knocked over. People are laying all over the floor. The fish barrel is tipped over. Water and fish are all in this area, saturating the floor. Everyone's just kind of coming to their senses. They look around, they see that the bear cage is still intact. The Sturge cage is knocked over and the door to it is open. The three Sturges emerge from the cage. You can kind of hear like zzz, like a cross between a giant bat and a mosquito. They have 4 bat-like wings, short furry body, and a long needle-like proboscis. So I always pre-roll my initiative. The Sturge has got an 11. Let's go for Thunderian. He doesn't have anything to his deck. He's got +1 to his dex. He gets a 4. Thunderian seems to be reacting a little slow. Maybe the bright lights of the outside is still affecting him, or he's still having little flashbacks from being in the cage for so long. But Simon, sort of behind the cover of the table, he uses his move to load the crossbow, and he takes a shot at the lead Sturge right there. All right, he's got +1 dexterity, shooting the crossbow. See what he gets. He gets a 5, and the arrow shoots directly over, maybe between the wings of the stingbat or Sturge, and it buries itself in the wall over by the cage. That's a miss. Thunderian is starting to get his marbles together, and he's realizing that they're under attack and what's going on here. And through his like blurry eyes and, you know, food on his mouth, he looks over and he sees this Sturge right here. And this Sturge moves right over here and tries to bury the long proboscis, its beak basically, into this guy, and tries to start sucking its blood. Stingbat has +2. Stingbat, no! So the Stingbat flies over and tries to bury his beak in this guy, and basically he turns around and shoves it back. The one that Simon took a shot at is going to fly directly over here and attack him. Simon's got an AC of 12. This thing's got +2. Yo, that's a 6. That's a miss. This thing's basically just like fluttering its wings right in front of Simon, darting about back and forth. The last one, 10 or above, he goes after Thunderian. Yes, he does go after Thunderian. This last one is gonna move right about there and attack Thunderian. He's got +2. That's a 14. Thunderian's got an AC to 12. That's a hit. Get out the skull splitters. Right there. Okay, that's a 1. Thunderian jumps up and grabs his axe, and right as he turns around, the last thing he sees is the Sturge proboscis forward, sort of like torpedoing toward him, and boom, sticks him right in the chest. He looks down for just a split second and can see blood starting to move through the proboscis up to the Sturge. He has this one attached. So we're at the top of the initiative order. After the earthquake and all of this going on in here, this starts to rattle. You can hear the growling coming from inside of it, and the cage is shaking. Everyone, these guys start to get up and they're like, no, 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 no. This guy runs over to the cage to try to hold it down, to try to make sure that it's secure in place. And over here, a lantern has spilled its oil all over the floor and ignited. So we have a fire going on over at this side. We're back at the top of the order. Simon has a Sturge right in front of him, and he is going to try to smash this thing with his mace. He has +0 to hit. Yo, are we gonna start? Are we gonna start this? So in my campaign, when you roll a 1 and you have a regular weapon, you break it. So Simon takes a swing wildly at the Sturge. The Sturge is darting back and forth, and Simon somehow swings around and cracks it on something, and it just snaps right in half. It breaks, the head of it breaks right off of the handle. This Sturge is attacking that person. That's an 11. That's going to hit. Sturge does 3 damage to this guy, and it attaches itself to him. Simon just whiffed really hard. He broke his mace, and now he's just standing there looking at the Sturge with just a handle. The Sturge is going to attack him. He has +2. Do I gotta get rid of this already? That's a 6. That is a miss. This one automatically hits. Got a red dice so we can see it a little bit easier. For 2 damage. Thunderian needs a DC 9 strength check. He has +1 to it to rip this thing off of him. Yeah, so he's gonna use his move to do that, and he rips the sting bat off of him. So now it's just sort of floating right in front of him, and now he's gonna take a big hack at it with his 2-handed axe. All right, switching out dice. Let's try this one. Simon grabs this chair right there and tries to smack the sting bat with it. That's gonna be a miss. This sting bat right here automatically does damage to him. That's gonna put him down. This sting bat over here is going to attack Simon. He has +2. Gets a 10. Simon's armor class 12. That's gonna be a miss. Is anybody going to hit? Anyone, either side. This one here is going to attack Thunderian. He has +2. Ooh, he's gonna get 20. Okay, so he's gonna attach himself to Thunderian and do 4 damage. Thunderian's down to 2 hit points. Thunderian yells over to Simon, I could use a little help. All Simon sees is like all the flapping of 4 wings, and Thunderian is just like, looks like he's hugging it, but he's trying to like pull it off of him. It's stuck deep down in his shoulder. Thunderian's turn. He needs a DC 9 strength check to get this thing off. Yeah, he pulls it off. And then he's going to take a swing with his axe. With his great axe, he's gonna use 2 hands. No, we're gonna say he's gonna use 1 hand because he was pushing the thing off. Yo, that's gonna be a 17, that's a hit. D8 damage. Kills it, yeah. Top of the next round. This fire is starting to burn hot and starting to spread farther until it looks like this. So in Shadowdark, there's no opportunity attacks, which I don't really know if I like that or not. I might change that down the road here. But for now, Simon is going to move back And he's going to cast Cure Wounds on Thunderian because he's only got 2 hit points left. I get to do it at advantage. So roll 2, take the higher one. It's a tier 1 spell, so 10 plus 1 is I need 11 or higher, and I get plus 2 to the rolls with advantage. 17 is gonna do it for sure. I have advantage because it's one of my talents. Actually, it's a touch spell, so I'll just have him move right over here. And he gets to roll a d6. Thunderian gets 5 back. This Sturge right here, evens, he goes after Thunderian. That's odd. He flies over right here and attacks that guy. He has plus 2. He's gonna miss. So he flies up to this guy. The guy hears the approaching wings, the and just sort of starts like waving his hands like wildly in the air. It's enough to distract the Stingbat. This one over here goes directly at Simon again. Gets plus 2. That's an 8, that's a miss. Thunderian sees this one over here start attacking more innocent people, and he sees that that one already killed one innocent person. It basically drives him into a rage. He has all these old feelings. His axe starts feeling like Blood Drinker, and he just runs over here to this one and takes an arcing swing with the axe. 2 hands. He has plus 1. That's an 11. Stingbat has an AC of 12. The 11 misses. Jeez. Feels like the good old days. Simon is going to move. He's going to run over here, maybe pushing her back a little bit. And he's going to use his second action to load up his crossbow. This other one here, now that Thunderian has took a swing at him, he's going to attack Thunderian. He's going to get a 16. That's a hit. 4, that's 3 damage for Thunderian. Thunderian's gonna take a heavy swing on this Stingbat right here. He's got plus 1. Yo, he's getting okay, so one of my talents, criticals on 19 or 20. That's a critical hit. Thunderian wipes out the next Stingbat. As Simon got away from this one, he was like scrambling to get a bolt loaded into the crossbow. This thing followed up and just sort of, you know, torpedoed toward him, proboscis straight out, but Simon had the crossbow waiting for him. And yeah, let's do it. 1, that is a 12, that's gonna hit. That's gonna finish off that Sturge. So one of my home rules for Shadowdark, in the Monster Hunter game mode, you don't get any experience for level 1 or level 1 monsters because you get half rounded down. But my home rule is you get 1 experience no matter what the encounter. So both of these guys get 1 XP. There's a number of situations that could have played out with the fire. Yeah, these guys had a few misses and might have been a little rusty in combat, but now that the combat is over and it didn't go any farther than that, everybody in here can kind of work together to extinguish the fire. Getting water back here from the kitchen and then just bringing it out and working on it together. We don't need to play that out or roll that out. Simon starts saying a prayer for the deceased right there, and it almost sounds outside like it starts to rain, but then it becomes heavier and heavier and heavier, and it's thudding and just constant pounding on the roof. People start making their way into the inn from outside. Suddenly the whole place is crowded with people coming in from the outside. They're covered in blood and feathers, white feathers. We sort of push through the crowds and move everybody out of the way so we can get over here to the door to peer outside to see what's going on. And as we look out onto the roads, the yards, the bushes, the roofs, the trees, they are completely covered with dead doves. All over, scattered about, and they are still pounding down on the roofs. You see them penetrating windows, and they're all dead, just falling out of the sky and completely litter this entire area with blood and dead doves. And that's where we're going to end off for today.